I don't care how the weather vane points when the weather vane points to gloomy.
Creepers, creepers, where'd you get those creepers? Creepers, creepers, where'd you get those eyes?
Gosh, y'all get up, how'd they get so lit up? Gosh, y'all get up, how'd they get that size?
Golly gee,
When you turn those heaters on.
Well, I did the first one, so what the hell. May as well take a look at the sequel that can be called a thrilling movie with an interesting plot. The original may not have been the greatest horror movie ever, but it had its place. The 2003 release of Jeepers Creepers 2 came out rather suddenly after the original. I suspect due to receiving a lot more attention than they anticipated. Sometimes with quick money-getting productions like this, they suffer in a lot of areas and produce poor films. Would this be true for Jeepers Creepers 2? Well, being that the first movie intended to end any possibility of a sequel, this movie had to get pretty creative to stay in the game. It's hard for movies to live up to the original, and I don't expect that from this movie. But if it gives a decent thrill and entertains, it's well worth the watch. So let's take a look at the sequel that already has a few things going against it, Jeepers Creepers 2. So there's this kid, tying up scarecrows, and it feels pretty eerie. The creeper shoots a quick glance his way. It catches you off guard. The boy studies him for a bit, and then, shit kid, run. The kid is booking it through the cornfield. The kid gets snagged by the creeper. The creeper just ragdolls the kid through the field. It's kind of funny. I know, poor kid. Well, the creeper takes off, and the father and brother are left behind, heartbroken. So I can skip a whole load in this, really. There isn't much to describe. I mean, in a bus, out of a bus, on a road, off a road, some fields. That pretty much sums it up. They start you off on the bus, full of cheerleaders and jocks and chanting. It's irritating. Okay, so they blow a tire and they find what's obviously a throwing weapon. Wouldn't that tell you it was intentional? I don't know, I think so. It's not until the second time that they make the exact call on it. They picked the prettiest bus driver for this role. Can you believe that Meatloaf was actually going to play that role? I guess he could sing the Bat Out of Hell song or something like that. It would be somewhat appropriate. They bring a storyline in where the jocks feel uncomfortable around a supposed gay kid. I think it's really poorly written, though. Meanwhile, the dad is like gearing up for war. It's pretty cool if you think about it. It's kind of like a Dragon Slayer or something. Scotty busts out this, "I'm white so the black coach doesn't like me." And again, it's just really poorly written and doesn't need to be in the film. Oh yeah, and some girl goes psychic out of nowhere. What's that about? I know we had Giselle in the first one, but what's going on? Is it like using the Force? You can just kind of learn it? Well, the second tire goes, and the stage is set for the slaughter. Their coach? Well, see ya. Love how everyone's just puzzled beyond belief. The bus driver? See ya. After the coach, though, why are you out there? Coach 2? Well, a bit of a fight this time, but now it's just the kids left. And Scotty and Double D, or whatever his name is, get into another race discussion on the bus. It really just doesn't fit in with the scene or the movie. A great scene and somewhat comical is when he's looking at the kids through the glass and making flirty faces, showing his desire to obtain them, followed by a true display of power jamming the door. Now the kids are trapped like sardines in a can. Minx passes out and does her psychic thing again, then wakes to explain the creeper's story.
Why don't you clean out your bong, alright?
The farmers get the kids on the radio and start heading towards them. The dad is so hardcore though, you have to love it. Not even calling the cops, just wanting this bastard all to himself. The kids take on repeated attacks, and it serves well to keep the intensity up. And that's one thing I'll give this film. Most of it is keeping the intensity up. Like when the creeper blows out the windows on the bus. Nothing crazy, but pretty cool. They discover the creeper has trapped them in on purpose. The decapitation scene, I think, is one of my favorite in any movie. Just look at him go. The creeper gains a new head, and really, if that isn't being creative with the character, I don't know what is. You really get to hate Scotty trying to divide the kids into the ones he thought were picked by the creeper and the ones that weren't. It's just such a dick move. Well, the chase is on through the fields. Great shots, I think. Love when Scotty gets a knife in the arm. Whines like a bitch, it's great. Scotty gets carried off, and that's that. His girlfriend goes bananas. Why is it when some chick flips out, someone always goes out to run to grab them? Like, who cares? The farmers meet the psychic on the road, and despite her pleas, he's suiting up to go after it. Some called this Salva's version of Moby Dick. This nerd's head gets palmed before the most awesome scene. There's a stare down, pretty epic, and you really root for the dad here. First strike, dad. So basically he's got him hooked like deep sea fishing, and the truck isn't handling it well, not at all. Creeps throws that pole back and they're in trouble now. But the old man strikes back in a kind of ridiculous shot, but hey, it's entertaining. Creeps flips the bus, felt I had to mention this. In the end, the truck is full of toys and it goes down. Thinking about it, this movie ups the display of power for Creeps big time. A group of the kids still left over find a truck and book it from the creeper. Feel bad for the guy in the back though. Tough rocks, kid. It's a high suspense scene though, and the creeper is very active in this film, far more than he was in the original. It ends with Izzy pulling a crazy move to mess up the creeper, and somehow all the kids survive. But that can't be it. I mean, this bad guy is near unbeatable, isn't he? Well, he's not beat, but he's messed up real bad. Pretty intense, the creeper laying in the field, injured, sniffing the air, in the direction of Double D. Watching the creeper throw himself into the air after Double D is just out of this world. I'm not really sure if I'm impressed or what. Just when you think luck has run out for Double D, the farmer puts one right between the eyes of the creeper. Gotta be it, right? Well, Jack went on to stab this thing about 100 times. I'm just showing a portion of this. This goes on for like 5 minutes. Well, the thing still doesn't die, really, and then it balls up into some kind of cocoon, I guess, for 23 more years. It's a clever ending, too. Jack, an old man now, showing his trophy to tourists.
We don't touch it.
What's the story in this thing?
Whatever you've heard, probably.
You expect us to think that that thing's real?
Don't really care.
A nice close-in on the creeper's skeleton awaiting to rise up once again, no doubt hinting at a sequel. And that wraps it up. So, the first thing I want to comment on is how much more busy the creeper is in this than in the original. In the first he drives, flies a bit, nothing too nuts anyway. But in this he's flipping buses, picking people up, taking a ton of abuse. I thought it was alright, a different, far less subtle approach. Did this live up to the original? Sure. I mean, the original isn't any kind of classic. It's alright. And I don't think the original had any major expectations, as I recall, but it was entertaining. Yes, it had a lot of action, some very funny scenes, and a decent cast. There were some unneeded subplots, though, the psychic babe and the racial qualms of Scotty. I don't really rate movies anymore, but if I did, it would be a 5 out of 10-ish, I would say. It's worth a watch. Much like the first one, don't go in expecting Gone with the Wind, and it'll be fine. This was Pat for HMRG. Thanks for watching.
Woe is me, got to put my cheaters on.
Creepers, creepers, where'd you get those creepers?
Oh, those weepers
How they hypnotize?
knock me out.
Where'd you get those eyes?
Where'd you get 'em?
Won't you put me wise?
Don't you jive me.
Pay to advertise.
Tell 'em about it.
Where did you get those eyes?